Hello and welcome to the 4th NHL Rookie Report here at Scouching. Last time we looked at Jack Hughes of the New Jersey Devils, and I thought it would be fitting to look at his brother, Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver Canucks. Quinn Hughes has been getting a lot of hype lately as the top power play man in Vancouver, but I was always really curious about how his even strength play would translate. His skating is fantastic, so I would expect his power play to be very good right away. Now, considering his aggressive nature as a defenseman, I really was curious to see how his even strength play would translate, and going into this season, I did see a little bit of a cause for concern considering just how aggressive he can be. So I decided to take a look and track a full game against Washington from late October, so let's dive into what I found. One of the first shifts of the game, Hughes is here supporting his partner Christopher Tanev behind the net. This is basic defense 101. Jakub Vrana is trying to win the puck off Chris Tanev, and you've got Evgeny Kuznetsov supporting in the middle of the ice. Along with those two guys is Tom Wilson, and once the puck is lost by Vrana, it goes back into the corner, which is where Hughes should be, and he is. Hughes also makes the read very quickly that Tom Wilson is on the ice with him, which is something that for someone especially like Quinn Hughes, he needs to be very aware of where he is at all times. This guy can be a dangerous player offensively. Hughes spots him and does something that I absolutely love watching smaller players do, which is use their size to his advantage. He ducks out of the way, doesn't try anything super fancy, and just spins off the check that Tom Wilson tries to throw at him. There's nothing wrong with this attempted hit really to my eye from Tom Wilson here, so Quinn Hughes can just get right around him pretty easily, get his stick on this puck, and now he has a couple of options available to him. He's got Bo Horvat and Chris Tanev supporting him, although Evgeny Kuznetsov might be a bit of an issue right there as well, and if he can just get this puck past Jakub Vrana, he's got Jake Virtanen along the wing, he's got Michel Furland in the middle of the ice, and again, guys like Bo Horvat who can charge up the ice with a bit of speed and get a breakout going. That's exactly what he does, and while Jake Virtanen tries to get the puck to Bo Horvat and loses it, and the puck just ends up back on Washington's stick in the neutral zone, Quinn Hughes made it look very easy to counter an aggressive forechecker and get a breakout started to get out of his own end. That's really sound defensive play from Quinn Hughes, especially for someone that young. However, as Washington gets the puck back in the Vancouver end on the same play, there were some signs of some things that I think will need to come a ways with time with Quinn Hughes. The forechecker here is Evgeny Kuznetsov, and that is not an easy assignment for someone like Quinn Hughes. Kuznetsov is a great puck handler, a great puck protector, and he can come in with a lot of speed. Quinn Hughes goes in for a stick check and misses, and all he really has now to counter his momentum is just his stick and trying to get the puck off of him. Kuznetsov just goes right around him and takes the puck around the back of the net here. While Hughes does do a really good job of trying to keep that gap really close and not give Kuznetsov any extra space that he doesn't need to earn, he still is unable to get the puck off of him. Jake Virtanen is supporting him defensively, but he doesn't really seem to catch that Tom Wilson is floating around behind him. It's not even Tom Wilson who's the main threat on this play, as Jakub Vrana also goes behind the net, and Kuznetsov manages to get him with a really nice backhand pass. The combination of Virtanen and Tanev are there to get that puck and move it back up the ice. But what you'll notice on this freeze frame is that Quinn Hughes is nowhere in sight. Jake Virtanen is, yes, the guy that is supposed to be supporting this defenseman here with the puck, but at the same time, I would like to see Quinn Hughes, especially with his mobility and explosivity, to maybe be back around this face-off dot to see if there's an outlet pass from Chris Tanev that might be a bit safer. Right now, Tanev doesn't really have any legitimate options. Tom Wilson would just go right after Jake Virtanen, and Jakub Vrana is still on the ice. Bo Horvat might be a good option to go up for the breakout as well. Tanev tries to go to Virtanen. Virtanen can't corral the puck. Quinn Hughes is way out at the blue line and out of position, and now the Washington Capitals have an odd man rush in the Vancouver end going the opposite direction from a poor breakout play here. However, again, this is why I love defensemen who have speed and mobility regardless of their size. Quinn Hughes was out of position here. He flew the zone way too quick, I thought. He gets back really quickly and manages to pick up this loose puck and take it around the back of the net. However, at the same time, he's got Tom Wilson bearing down on him, one of the more aggressive forecheckers in the entire league. Now again, Quinn Hughes is at a disadvantage here. He's much smaller. Tom Wilson has more reach. Tom Wilson is an underrated skater, but he does make it look a little bit easy getting the puck off Quinn Hughes behind the net here. I think as Hughes gets older and more refined and stronger on his feet, this play might be able to come out a different way for Quinn, but he ends up falling to the ice in the corner and the Washington Capitals strip the puck from him. So I think this play really highlighted a few really nice things and maybe a few shortcomings with Quinn Hughes at even strength. While he does have good gap control, his mobility is certainly on display here. He's flying the defensive end a little bit too quickly for my taste, and I also think he needs to get a bit stronger on his feet, which I think should come with age. This next play is just a really nice read from Quinn Hughes on this play. The Washington Capitals are using their speed and cycling the puck around Vancouver's end here. Eller moves the puck out to Dmitry Orlov at the point. Quinn Hughes is right in front of the net where I think he should be for sure. He also knows that Jakub Vrana is right there on the left wing ready for a one-timer to take a shot if there's a pass from Dmitry Orlov. The great thing about this read is that Quinn Hughes realizes that the guy behind him is pretty well covered by Tanner Pearson here, so he's able to play a little bit more aggressively, and if that one-timer chance comes, which it very likely is to me, then Jakub Vrana can be challenged really strongly without sacrificing a lot of defensive liability. Now, while Vrana does get the shot off clean, Hughes does do a really good job staying out of the sight line of Jakob Markstrom. This is a one-timer shot that is pretty easily swallowed up by Markstrom. Hughes does get his stick in the way to maybe block it or send it into the netting and get a face-off, but he stays out of the way of the sight line. He read this play really nicely, and his aggressiveness really played to his benefit on this one. One thing I noticed about Quinn Hughes' play in the defensive end at even strength is that he does a really good job tying players' sticks up. And to me, that's a really effective way, especially for a smaller defenseman, to play competent defense. Right on this play, he doesn't abandon his post and chase a breakout that isn't there, which some young defenders might do, but he does a really good job picking up the stick of a really speedy offensive player in Carl Hagelin, just in case there's any kind of opportunity for Hagelin here. The shot is whiffed on by Nick Jensen at the point, it goes into the corner, and Quinn Hughes sticks really tight to his man and continues to apply pressure. He's not letting Hagelin get away with anything without really trying, and that's what I think is really competent defense for such a young defender. He doesn't take any time with Hagelin and just cleanly strips the puck right off of him and sends it out in front of the net. Now, maybe sending it out in front of the net with Evgeny Kuznetsov waiting for it right there might not be the most advantageous play, but Tanner Pearson does get to this puck first and starts a breakout for the Vancouver Canucks. So this was the first play in a bit of a pattern with Quinn Hughes. You might expect defensemen to be big, tough, mean players who don't let anyone by them by using their body and positioning. Quinn Hughes is one of those players that kind of takes a different approach. He uses his stick mostly to really provide a lot of defensive help, which I think, considering his mobility and his gap control on these plays, was really playing to his strengths. When I made the first installment of this series about Ville Heinola, the thing that really stuck out about his game was his aggressiveness in the neutral zone, and Quinn Hughes does the exact same thing here to stop a breakout before it even gets going. Nick Jensen sends a breakout pass into the neutral zone, and Quinn Hughes spots that it's not really the cleanest play from the Washington Capitals, and he steps right in and tries to break this play out. I think the idea here is that Nick Jensen was going to send Garnet Hathaway a pass into the neutral zone and Hathaway would just chip it into the offensive zone, but this is 2019. Stuff like that often doesn't work, especially when you have defensemen like Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes just kind of goes, nuh-uh, and stops this before it even gets going. He gets this puck back in the neutral zone and starts sending the puck the opposite way for the Vancouver Canucks. The Capitals do manage to grind the puck into Vancouver's end here, but there really isn't much of a set play here. The Vancouver Canucks have three guys on the ice here who can do a really good job of stymieing the Washington Capitals as they try to break into Vancouver's end here. This really should be a play that the Canucks can turn around, and it all came from Quinn Hughes choking off that breakout play. Hughes gets the puck back, and while some might say he should move the puck deeper into his own zone to maybe settle things down and get a breakout turning the other way, there are already three Washington Capitals bearing down on him. He's facing the neutral zone already. There might have been a breakout pass here up the ice, or maybe he can chip it to Elias Pettersson, but he makes the safe play for an aggressive defenseman and just moves the puck into the neutral zone just to defuse the pressure the Capitals are applying. Here's an example of just how special to me Quinn Hughes is with his mobility at his age, and just how much of a punch that mobility can add. This is a relatively standard 2-on-2 breakout play between the Canucks and the Capitals here. You've got Tom Wilson and Lars Eller breaking out against Tyler Myers and Quinn Hughes. I'm not a huge fan of defensemen who voluntarily relinquish a lot of blue line changes, so when Washington's coming up the ice, I like to usually see players who pressure the forecheckers a little bit. But what Quinn Hughes and Tyler Myers are doing really well here is maintaining a good gap. If the Washington Capitals try to go wide, they still have the time to read that and maybe pin them against the boards. If the Washington Capitals try to chip it up the ice, then they still have the distance advantage to really start that foot race and potentially win it. And Quinn Hughes does a really nice job of walking this balance with Tyler Myers to really stymie the breakout. They do end up sending the puck into Vancouver's zone up the middle of the ice and sends it into the corner here. I read this as a foot race now between Tom Wilson and Quinn Hughes, and Tom Wilson does have a lot of speed carrying him into the defensive end. Quinn Hughes doesn't really have the momentum. His weight is shifted more towards towards the middle of the ice, and now he has to make a pretty complicated turn to try to catch up to where Tom Wilson will be in the next few frames. Wilson does win this race to the corner here, but Quinn Hughes sticks right to him and just does what he can against him and shoves him into the boards. Now this might have been a little bit of a dangerous play had Quinn Hughes been maybe a stronger or bigger defenseman, but Wilson manages to hit the ice and lose the puck, and Hughes is right there to pick it up again. JT Miller is the first person to get here, but Quinn Hughes is right there to support him, and he does manage to sneakily chip the puck right past Tom Wilson where Tyler Myers is supporting him. Myers picks it up and he's ready to start a breakout here with multiple options in Hughes and Pettersson. So Hughes is clearly pretty good at maintaining that gap control and using his mobility to his advantage. He also shows that he's not really willing to just give up on an offensive player that might be a bit bigger or stronger than him. He tried to take Wilson into the boards here and Wilson hit the ice, but it did cause the turnover, and I really liked seeing that out of Quinn Hughes a few times this game. On this next play, I'm not really sure what to categorize it as, whether it was bad or good. I think it was a good read by Quinn Hughes, but it was a good read made a little bit too late, and it gave Washington a pretty good chance breaking up the ice. Hughes is doing his job patrolling the blue line and monitoring the left side with his left-hand shot, and the puck is being chipped around between Vancouver and Washington around the corner. Hughes reads that the puck is wrapping around the corner here, and I imagine Hughes realizes that Tanner Pearson is going to ring this puck around the boards and it's going to come back up towards the blue line. Hughes really intelligently reads that all 5 Washington Capitals are on the left wing side of the ice and that they're all focused on the corner, not really where Hughes is going. The trouble is Pearson doesn't put enough on the puck to put it really anywhere. Nick Jensen picks up that puck and Quinn Hughes is way deep in the offensive end without very much support behind him. Most of the Canucks and Capitals are all on one side of the ice and Hughes might end up getting himself lost too deep in the offensive end here. So he backs off on the aggressive pinch, but you'll notice that Carl Hagelin realizes that there might be a bit of a defensive liability here for the Vancouver Canucks, and he just flies the zone hoping that Nick Jensen can hit him with a breakout pass. While Hughes does note that that pass is coming and trying to move itself into the neutral zone, he doesn't stop the breakout pass, and now the Washington Capitals have a nice one-on-one zone entry in Vancouver's own end. Hagelin gets his shot on net, and maybe this was a play where the whole Canucks team just got caught puck watching, but if Hughes hadn't been as aggressive in the defensive end there, even though the read itself was pretty good, this might have been choked off a little bit easier at the offensive blue line for the Vancouver Canucks. Now we get into the part that I think Vancouver fans love the most, which is when Quinn Hughes is on the power play. I think this showcases that yes, Quinn Hughes can be a lot of fun to watch, but at the same time, he doesn't just put the puck on his own stick and tries to do everything on his own. Hughes makes the slightest of fakes towards the inside of the ice here on Lars Eller, and while Lars Eller doesn't really bite, it was a really interesting idea from Hughes to try to shake him off that way and then generate speed through the neutral zone. While he does get right by Lars Eller, Eller does manage to kinda catch up to him and apply enough pressure that Hughes realizes that he either needs to chip this puck into the offensive end or maintain possession by moving it to a teammate. His pass options are really Brock Besser and Josh Levo here, and both of them are pretty well covered by Washington Capitals. Hughes manages to spin off the pressure that Eller is applying and just moves the puck back to Tanner Pearson so Pearson can control the breakaway himself. It's just a smart, mature, responsible play that maintains possession, and I am always a fan of players who try to maintain possession over players who try to make their line mates do more work to win foot races for pucks that have been dumped in. This one's nitpicky, so I'll make it pretty quick. The Washington Capitals are applying a lot of pressure to the Vancouver Canucks here. The Vancouver Canucks have a player on the ice with a bit of an injury. The shot from Kempny here buckles Tyler Mott to the ice, but Quinn Hughes himself is doing a really good job monitoring the front of the net. He's got Carl Hagelin circling around, and again, Carl Hagelin is a speedy guy, he can be pretty sneaky, and you have to make sure that you're maintaining pressure on Hagelin so that he doesn't get anything easy. Once again, you'll see that Quinn Hughes ties up Hagelin's stick in front of the net, which is something that he did time and time again during this game. However, Hughes loses the handle on Hagelin's stick, and Hagelin does a good job brushing it aside, and now Hagelin has both body positioning on Hughes, and he's in good position, especially considering he shoots left. If that puck comes out in front of the net, the Washington Capitals now have 2 left-hand shots Quinn Hughes isn't really that much of a danger to. Hughes tries to push Hagelin out of the front of the net area, but right here is where I would kinda like to see him maybe skate around and put his body in between Markstrom and Hagelin's stick. Hagelin still has the open shooting lane here, and Quinn Hughes really isn't doing all that much to push Hagelin out of this area. The puck goes through Jay Beagle and through Chris Tanev, and Hagelin gets it right in front of the net for a high danger chance against the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks survive this chaos in front of the net, but they don't manage to get the puck out of their own end. All 5 of their players have collapsed in really deep, and there isn't really an option for a breakout. So when you have a balance of 5 Vancouver Canucks in front of the net to 3 Washington Capitals, this gives the Capitals a lot of options if they do manage to retrieve this puck when when it squeaks out. They could shoot it from the point, and now there are 8 bodies in front of the net blocking Markstrom's view. They could go D to D and maybe open things up, hope that Markstrom doesn't see, but if Hughes had just made a little bit of a movement in front of the net to put himself between Carl Hagelin and Jakob Markstrom, maybe Markstrom has a much easier time covering this puck when it comes out in front of the net. The next play showcases where Quinn Hughes might be a little bit too aggressive chasing forecheckers entering the Vancouver zone. Jonas Siegenthaler in the neutral zone chokes off the Vancouver Canucks breakout and manages to get the puck to Jakob Vrana in the middle of the ice. Vrana puts the puck right through Josh Levo and Tanner Pearson and manages to get it to Tom Wilson, who circles back for another zone entry into Vancouver's zone. He's got Evgeny Kuznetsov to go with him on the breakout, but countering him is Quinn Hughes, and back in the Vancouver zone is Chris Tanev. Hughes pinches up and challenges Wilson immediately, but he gets caught completely out of position, and if Wilson can get around him, which he does, he moves the puck to Kuznetsov, and now the Washington Capitals have a 2-on-1. Now Hughes doesn't give up on the play, he keeps moving his feet, back checking, trying to break up the play, and Tanner Pearson is there to support it as well. So I would think that Evgeny Kuznetsov might just have taken the shot here, but at the end of the day this was a 2-on-1 that was really caused by the aggressiveness of Quinn Hughes. However, in a moment where Hughes completely redeems himself, the puck goes behind the net and settles itself below the goal line. He's got Evgeny Kuznetsov, who's right there ready to apply pressure and probably pick that puck up. He just slaps the puck along the boards and uses the boards to his advantage and forces Kuznetsov to take too much of an attempt at moving that puck before Hughes can get there. Kuznetsov falls to the ground and can't block the puck after Hughes slaps it around behind him. Chris Tanev ends up picking up that puck that Hughes put around the back of the net, and Tanev immediately goes D to D back to Quinn Hughes, and now Hughes has quite a bit of space to make a decision here. He's got Tanner Pearson up in the middle of the ice, he's got Chris Tanev as a partner to go to, he could wrap it along the back of the boards. He has options now, and this all came from him with that intelligent move to just move the puck past Kuznetsov one way or the other and spin right off Kuznetsov's body. So while Hughes can be a little bit too aggressive, he does show that he can be very intelligent in different ways in his own end, even when he's considered down and out. Here's a play where Quinn Hughes' aggressiveness is on display once again, and what happens when he actually commits to being aggressive. The Capitals are trying to break the puck out along the boards here, and Quinn Hughes is slowly pinching up from the blue line here, challenging Lars Eller. If this puck also gets to Garnet Hathaway on this play, Hughes does have the space and the mobility to close that gap as well. It's a really good read from Hughes that he can be a little bit more aggressive. There are 4 Washington Capitals that the face-off dots are lower, and there are only 3 Vancouver Canucks that are remaining in Washington's end here, so he does have the support in the neutral zone to be this aggressive and commit to it. And this is a theme that I've seen in a number of these NHL Rookie Report videos when I analyze NHL games, is the importance of applying pressure. Even if Quinn Hughes here doesn't get his stick on Lars Eller, Eller doesn't really get the time or space to think about a play to be made. He needs to make a play quickly or else Quinn Hughes is going to get him. Michael Kempny can't corral the puck, and Elias Pettersson picks up the puck in the neutral zone, and Vancouver maintains possession. Quinn Hughes' pressure on Eller really caused the Capitals to turn this puck over, even though he never really tied Eller up with the puck too much. And that's what I really like to see out of aggressive offensive defensemen. He made the read, he made the pinch, and it worked. On the flip side of things, I also need my defensemen to be able to play conservatively if need be. On this play, Elias Pettersson is carrying the puck deep in his own end, but Quinn Hughes doesn't fly the zone trying to be a breakout option. He and Chris Tanev are supporting him below the goal line, which is something that I really like to see. A lot of breakouts can start when your defensemen don't fly the zone too quickly. Pettersson diffuses a little bit of pressure that Eller was applying on him and has some open space. Hagelin kind of cuts off the pass option to Chris Tanev here, and Garnet Hathaway is certainly not a threat to Quinn Hughes when he's positioned where he is. Pettersson makes the simple play to Quinn Hughes, who's there supporting him, and Hughes makes a really nice breakout pass that doesn't quite work out, but the idea was very sound. So I do like to see play like this out of defensemen, especially those who play a little bit more aggressively like Quinn Hughes can. And it goes back to that mantra from the last few of these videos. Competent defense enables offense, and this is a really good example of that. It's a little thing, but it really matters to me. One thing about Quinn Hughes when he was draft eligible that really stuck out to me, putting him in my top 5 in that year's draft, was his ability to almost look like a figure skater out there and really stay strong on his feet doing so. On this play with TJ Oshie, he looks a little bit chaotic with his movements, but they're all really for a purpose. It might not be the most beautiful thing in the world, but with Oshie breaking into the defensive end here, Hughes is caught a little bit flat-footed here, and his body is faced into his own zone, and it's not really the most advantageous position. Oshie does enter the zone pretty easily, and while Hughes does try a stick check and misses, he uses that off-balance situation to turn it into rotational acceleration, and comes back around with another stick check on Oshie and stays really tight to him. He once again ties up Oshie's stick like he has with a number of different Capitals throughout this whole game, and just pushes the puck out to Tim Schaller so that Schaller can try to start a breakout going the other way. The second last play today is really important to me because you've got a minute and a half left in a tie game, and it really showcases that Quinn Hughes sometimes might be too aggressive in the offensive end. The Washington Capitals are breaking the puck out here, and you've got Evgeny Kuznetsov with the puck. 4 Vancouver Canucks are focused on Kuznetsov and getting the puck off of him. You've got Tom Wilson on Washington's right wing ready to break the puck out, and Quinn Hughes is more focused on Kuznetsov than he is on Tom Wilson. This very easily could turn into a breakout that is dominated by Tom Wilson. Kuznetsov sends a pass into the neutral zone that is nowhere near Tom Wilson, but it does give Wilson the chance to pick that puck up in the offensive end. Hughes does backcheck here really well to try to choke off Tom Wilson before he can even get to the puck. But this is a race that really I don't think even had to happen in the first place. Wilson does win the race to the puck in the offensive end, and he does spin off of Quinn Hughes here to make some space for himself to try to make a play. However, there really isn't much of an option for Wilson here, but he knows he needs to do something, so he sends a pass into the middle of the ice and hopes for the best. The pass is picked off by Chris Tanev, but Jakub Vrana is right there to apply pressure on him and free that puck up in the corner. This is a situation where I think Hughes was just a little bit too aggressive in the offensive end in such a close period of the game. Had he been more towards the left side of the ice and cutting off that blue line, he might have been there to block that breakout pass before it even started, or he might have been in position to physically put himself between Wilson and the puck. Unfortunately, Wilson manages to earn that zone entry and potentially create a chance for the Washington Capitals with a minute left in the game. The last play I wanted to highlight of the game as the seconds winded down was Quinn Hughes doing a really good job in the neutral zone though with gap control on Garnet Hathaway. It is really impressive to me that Travis Green played Quinn Hughes for so long right at the end of this game when the game was tied 5-5, and Hughes showcases a really good reason why. He stayed really tight to Garnet Hathaway all the way through the neutral zone here. The puck gets dumped into Vancouver's end, but I'm not really concerned about this play from Vancouver's perspective. Hughes' mobility to me is better than Garnet Hathaway, and the whole way he has his body between Hathaway and the puck, which is exactly what you should be doing as a defender almost at all times. Hughes picks up the puck and he knows that he can't really just brush off Garnet Hathaway super easily in this situation, and he sends the puck around the back of the net to his partner Tyler Myers. And from here the clock wound down and they managed to get the play into overtime. Had Quinn Hughes maybe been a step too slow or maybe a step behind Garnet Hathaway on this play, this could have been a breakaway or a nice one-on-one chance for Hathaway, but Hughes did a really good job sticking to him like glue in the neutral zone and putting his body between Hathaway and the puck in real serious crunch time. So overall, my thoughts on Quinn Hughes are that the positives are certainly there, and some of the negatives that I expected going in are there. Is the situation apparent where Quinn Hughes is going to be a defensive liability for his team? I certainly don't believe that long term. I think once he gets stronger on his feet, improves on his already fantastic skating, and continues to get stronger with his stick, I think he's going to become a very, very competent defensive player. His best assets to me are his skating and his creativity on and away from the puck. I really saw that on display in this game. He was creative in terms of breaking up breakouts, and he did a really, really good job of choking off the Washington Capitals whenever he had the chance to. It wasn't always there, but he did do a really, really good job in this game, and considering he's a rookie in the National Hockey League, I certainly expected some worse play out of him, especially even strength, but I'm pretty sure Quinn Hughes is going to be a special defenseman for Vancouver for a long time. You might criticize small defensemen for certain reasons, but what Quinn Hughes does is makes up for that in very creative ways, which is something that I look for with undersized defensemen. I have never cared how big or small a player is at any position on the ice. Hughes' ability to tie up sticks, uses creativity to slap a puck around, to knock it off a player like Evgeny Kuznetsov and make it look easy, I think is really impressive. And if he can continue to be coached to be both aggressive and intelligent at both ends of the ice in all situations, I think he's going to be a great National Hockey League player moving forward. So that's it for the Quinn Hughes recap. I hope you enjoyed. The next subject we're going to be looking at is going to be Capo Caco of the New York Rangers. If you liked the video, click all the buttons you see below me so you never miss another one. If you really liked it, you could subscribe on Patreon where you get access to data sheets, merchandise discounts, and plenty more. Or you could pick up some merchandise at the Scouchwear shop where 50% of all proceeds go to the Women's Sports Foundation. So that's all, and we'll see you in the next one.